Hey, astrology time, and it's Shane here, Daily AstroCat. Let's talk about today's astrology because you know what? There's nothing to talk about. I kid you not. If you were to look, there are no aspects to the moon and there are no planetary aspects. So what is that going to mean for us? Well, we have a moon in Gemini all day long. It's the 17th, right? There's plenty of energy here to spare. There's a lot of energy in the chart. Just because it doesn't make a single aspect doesn't mean that it's not there and having its effect on us, right? Similarly, you can have empty areas in your natal chart that, guess what? Those areas there also have influences on you, even though you may not have a planet in there making an aspect to anything, because it makes up your entire chart. Now, with that being said, that's a very interesting astrological point, and hopefully you're here because not only do you like what I have to say, but you want to learn more about astrology, because that's what we do here. Now, the moon not making an aspect, and the planets don't make an aspect, it gives us what I like to call a focused moon. Okay, focused moons are those periods where we're just able to embody the energy of that sign the moon is in. So in this case, we're in Cancer. Listen to me, Gemini. Okay, so we find ourselves free and able to focus on the things that we're going to need to do to start over again. Now, Gemini, let's think about this. Actually, I'm going to get into it later, okay? I can talk about it now, but I'll just get ahead of myself and I'll end up repeating myself. Look, for some, this is figurative. For others, including myself, this is going to be quite literal. We have a new beginning starting. Outstanding energy is present as Venus and Mars are working with Jupiter to maximize what is being offered. That's an interesting thought. I want you to hold that for a second, because with Mars in Libra and Venus in Cancer, what kind of energy could be present there? Well, it's a 72-degree angle called a quintile, and it's considered creative. So this is a creative point for a lot of you. So line things up and let's finish them. Today's keyword is everything, and the color is Capri Cream, and that's very specific. Okay. The other day, let's talk about this for a minute, because I want to talk about opportunities. I want to talk about communication, and I want to talk about how communication helped to create an opportunity today that is pretty unbelievable. As you may know or you may not know, we've been having our house worked on quite a bit in this particular cycle, right? Which fits with this Jupiter in Cancer cycle, right? The home is a great focus point. We had a lot of influence. We had Uranus in Taurus, right? We had some changes going to that anaretic degree with where we live and how we live, right? Now, with that, the other day, we had cars parked in front where we usually park our car. And it's like, oh, what the heck? Why is somebody out there, right? Why are we doing this again? Why is this happening? Now, what ended up happening was I ended up going out and coming back, and I parked in front of the neighbor's house because the car was from his house. He said, oh, Shane, I'm painting. Come inside and see. So I went inside, and he's like, you asked me about the back of your house. You should talk to this guy here. I'm using him. He's really good, and he'll give you a good price for this, right? Now, mind you, this is all taking place in Portuguese, okay? So I go out, meet the guy, meet his wife, and he's like, look, I'll give you a good price. Let me come back. So yesterday, Saturday, I get a knock on the door. And it's the guy standing out there, right? It's his name is Daniel. And he's like, hey, he says, you remember me? And I said, yeah, of course I remember you. Oh, okay. He says, look, I'm going to give you a price. Let's take a walk around the house. So, me being my usual shameless self, I usually wear black boxer shorts. So I just go outside barefoot, black boxer shorts on. Nobody knows the difference, right? And we just go around the house. Okay, so he looks at me and he goes, okay, he goes, $2,000 for the whole thing. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, just you buy the paint, I'll come over, get it done. I'm going to take everything off of it. I'm going to power wash it, and then I'm going to, blast all the stuff, all the old paint and chipping paint off of it. And he said, I'm going to do the whole thing for you. I said, okay, fine. buy the paint. So one of the paint colors we have is Capri Cream. That's the trim. The other part is blue. It's a beautiful blue color. So, I'm immediately I'm like, okay, this is good. We're going to do this. We're going out to buy the paint right after this. So that's what this versatility is. That's what this communication is. This is what this Jupiter and Venus is doing for us right now. Let's think about this. All right. It's all about honoring that Venus and Jupiter. The Grand Air Trine. Look, the Grand Air Trine, you know what that is. That's where we have Uranus. That's where we have the Pluto, and that's where we have Mars. Mars is still in that position. It's not as strong as it was, and it's a little bit separating. But we're going to come back to that as the sun comes around to that Libra season, right? Sun goes into Libra, we go back to that. Each sextile, now the sextiles are the 60-degree angles, so think about it. All of those trines have marks. That kite, right, has a trine at 120 degree, but also has a 60 degree at the apex. So it goes Pluto, this Neptune and Saturn, and then Uranus, and then Mars down at the bottom. But then beyond that, we have Mercury, and Mercury is connecting to both Mars and Uranus. So we've got some very interesting energy here. It's almost makes a whole line around it, that cradle position, right? And if that becomes, it becomes a grand sextile if it all completes. At some point when the moon was in Sagittarius, it may have done that, but we shall see. Now, like shifting gears, these energies, right? These sextiles, if you take them and you just work around it, it kind of ramps up. The energy can ramp up. So you start with the first thing that you're going to do, and you just keep on going, and you're going to accelerate as you get towards the end of the day. I told you Uranus would offer a surprise yesterday. That's the story I just told you. And it will need to be acted upon, because guess what? He's going to start today after I go out and get the paint. That's going to be quite interesting. Now, Gemini is versatile, thoughtful, rapid in actions and communication, fleeting and very communicative and scattered. It can be a scattered energy. However, we tap into that today. We balance our actions. That's how we handle it, because Mars is in Libra. We let that kite kind of take over, right? That dream of having the house done, right? I go outside during the summer and I'm like, oh man, I should be painting or something like that. It's not for me to do. It's for me to get done. And that's what the important thing is. To be able to do it is beyond taking the load off of my mind. It's liberating. It's freeing. It does some stuff. Also going to clean the gutters when he's up there, right? More liberation. Now, we're going to use that versatility. We're going to use that. We use that communication. We use the versatility. There are things that I need to finish up today in order to step into my new reality that's beginning tomorrow, right? There's a new reality that's beginning for me. Maybe it's beginning for you. There are things that you need to finish up to be able to move into that. Maybe you haven't finished things up. Maybe you haven't decided to move, okay? Make sure you're doing it. Make sure you're getting rid of the stuff, but leave the stuff behind, right? Don't leave the stuff hanging. Now, if we can go late into the night if our bodies let us. Now, the reason why you didn't see this earlier is because I couldn't do it. I had a day yesterday with family, and it was pretty good, pretty amazing, but guess what? It was a lot of physical stuff because I was at my mother's house, and there's a saltwater pool there, and I had 2 grandchildren in the pool, plus her dog, and it was just fantastic. I was busy all day long, and let me tell you, hauling 2 toddlers around, even in a pool, jumping up and down and doing crazy stuff and lifting them up in the air, yeah, that can get quite tiring. And that's where I'm at. So that's what we're doing. So we can go late if our bodies let us. Last night, my body said, no way, you don't have the energy for this, right? And I didn't. I couldn't do this with anywhere near the amount of energy that I normally put into it. In 1903, Joseph Pulitzer donates $1 million to Columbia University and begins the Pulitzer Prize in the United States. That's about $36,700,000 $710,000 in today's dollars. Nice gift, right? And in 1893, Mae West, you know her, American stage and screen actress. She's an icon, right? She's a writer. She Done 'Em Wrong, I'm No Angel, and she's a singer. She did Way Out West. And she's born in Brooklyn, New York. And that's what I have for you. So thank you so much. Appreciate and love every single one of you. Today we're going to give it an 8, right? Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for coming by. Please, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked it, if you haven't followed, if you haven't done any of that stuff, please do so. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate and love every single one of you. Today's an 8. Happy astrocatting.